So for this Z-axis mod to take off our holder for the spindle, we just undid the screws here, this part drops out, and then with the Z-axis controller we just ran this down and dropped this out. So in order to hold a more full-size router, at least a 1/4-inch router, with a whole lot more strength, I have to do a cut right along this line so we can move this off, have a flat panel along here, and build a bracket with some customized holders. After a quick cut with the reciprocating saw, we took off the front part of this, put a bag over the bearings so we can keep everything out. That's our rough cut. So we're going to clean this up on the sander, make that nice and flush so we can put bolts for a mounting bracket. After taking off the front part that would hold the old spindle, we just spent some time with the belt sander and made this nice and flat. The only cost really for this whole modification is a few belts. And this does get warm, so gloves are pretty important. But we've got a nice flat surface here. We can drill some holes and get ready to build a mount. A quick glue up to hold this together, and then we'll follow up with some screws. After we take off the bag and the tape, this is what this part looks like. So we've got a nice flat surface here that we can set some screws and drill this to the back. So with regular hand tools and just a hand tap, we've gone ahead and threaded these so these go nice and smooth. And I want to do some recesses on here so the nut can sit just a little bit below the wood so we can have the router flush against the back. That's what the carriage looks like on the CNC. After this design switch for the router carriage, I wanted a little control on the speed of the router. So Harbor Freight has these guys. They're about 20 bucks, between 20 and $30. And they work fine for routers. Variable control or full. Real simple. You plug your router into this, plug this into your wall supply, and you're good to go. It's flying along here at about 100 inches per minute. You could probably push this a little bit faster too. So let's take this off the board and check out those cuts. This is really the wrong end mill that I've got in here. This was the only 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch shank bit that I had in the box. I've got to order some more. That's a single flute cutter. So even with one flute and some pretty hard wood, it's a hardwood of some kind that came out off of that pallet, did a good job. I think with the right end mills, this would do extremely well. Let's take this off and take a look at these. And there are these little parts. This is part of a bigger project I'm working on as far as the shapes go. So this was just a test to see how this new setup would work. But that's at about 100 inches per minute with a single flute, very basic, not a finishing end mill. And these came out really well. Because the end mill is a little bit short, there's a little bit of burn at the top, and that's just because the top of the end mill was running against it, which gives it kind of an interesting burned in look. It's kind of cool. But as far as accuracy and tightness of this, I'm impressed. I think this will work really well. And the nice thing about this carriage is that the router can come off if this needs to be replaced. If I want to make something to hold a Dremel or something else, we've got the base here that we can design around. So there you go. Kind of neat. Thanks very much for taking a look.